Egypt, land of golden sands, mighty Nile, and towering pyramids. For centuries, this ancient kingdom stood as a beacon of civilization, its monuments rising from the desert like eternal sentinels. The Nile's life-giving waters nourished the land, making it a cradle of abundance and power. Pharaohs ruled with absolute authority, their word law, their legacy carved in stone for all time. Yet beneath the splendor, another truth lay hidden in the shadows, one seldom spoken of in the grand halls of Egypt. The Hebrews, once welcomed as guests in a time of famine, had become slaves, their freedom stripped away. Day after day they toiled endlessly under the relentless sun, their sweat and pain fueling the empire's relentless ambition. Their backs bent beneath crushing loads, hands raw and bleeding from the rough stones. They built cities and monuments for a glory they would never share, their own names lost to history, their suffering unrecorded in the annals of kings. For generations sorrow was their inheritance. The Hebrews clung to the fading memory of a God who had once promised them hope and freedom, but now seemed silent as the years dragged on. Each day blurred into the next, marked only by exhaustion and longing for deliverance. Their suffering was the unseen foundation of Egypt's greatness. Every stone set in place, every monument that touched the sky, was built upon the backs of those who had no voice, whose pain was hidden behind the empire's dazzling facade. Yet, even in the deepest despair, a question lingered in their hearts. How long must a people suffer before justice awakens? In the quiet of the night, whispers of hope flickered among them, fragile but unbroken. A storm was gathering, a change that would challenge a king's pride and test the faith of an entire people. The winds of destiny began to stir, carrying with them the promise of upheaval and transformation. The stage was set for deliverance. In the land of two truths, the world was about to witness a story of suffering, hope, and the unbreakable spirit of a people longing to be free. Far from the grandeur and turmoil of Egypt, Moses had settled into a life of quiet obscurity, tending sheep in the rugged hills of Midian. Each day he wandered the wilderness, guiding his flock across rocky terrain, the vast silence broken only by the bleating of sheep and the whisper of the wind. The memories of his royal upbringing, palaces, power and privilege, had faded into the background, replaced by the simple rhythms of a shepherd's life. His royal past was now a distant memory, almost like a dream from another lifetime. Alone with his thoughts, Moses often wondered about his purpose, feeling the weight of exile and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. One day as he led his flock near Mount Horeb, something extraordinary caught his eye, a bush engulfed in flames yet miraculously untouched by the fire. The sight was mesmerizing, impossible to ignore. Compelled by curiosity and awe, Moses drew closer, sensing that this was no ordinary fire but a sign of something far greater. From within the flames a voice called out, "Moses!" It was the voice of God breaking the silence of the wilderness. God declared that the suffering of the Hebrews in Egypt had not gone unnoticed, that their cries for help had reached heaven itself. In that sacred moment, Moses was chosen for a task that seemed impossible: to return to Egypt, confront Pharaoh, and demand freedom for his enslaved people. The weight of this mission pressed heavily on him, for he knew the dangers and the power of the Egyptian throne. Doubt and fear filled his heart. Moses protested, feeling unworthy and ill-equipped. He was no leader, just a fugitive, a man with a stammer, haunted by his past and uncertain of his future. But God reassured him, promising, "I will be with you." Moses would not face this challenge alone. Divine presence and guidance would accompany him every step of the way. God also sent Moses' brother, Aaron, to stand by his side, giving him strength and support. Together, they would become the instruments of a power far greater than Pharaoh's might. The call was clear and urgent: "Let my people go." It was a message that would echo through history, a demand for justice and liberation. With faith and trepidation, Moses set out on a journey that would transform him from an exile into a deliverer, forever changing the fate of his people and the course of history. Moses and Aaron entered Pharaoh's throne room, simple shepherds before a living God. Moses delivered God's command, "Let my people go." Pharaoh scoffed, unmoved by their words. Aaron cast down his staff. It became a serpent, stunning the court. Pharaoh's magicians did the same, but Aaron's serpent swallowed theirs. The message, the God of the Hebrews, was mightier than Egypt's magic, yet Pharaoh's pride hardened his heart. He dismissed Moses and Aaron, setting the stage for a battle of wills. The conflict between a stubborn king and an almighty God had begun. The Nile turned to blood, fish died, and Egypt's lifeblood became poison. Frogs, gnats, and flies swarmed the land, sparing only the Hebrews. Livestock perished, boils tormented the people, and hail destroyed crops. Locusts devoured what remained, and darkness smothered Egypt for 3 days. Each plague was a warning, each refusal by Pharaoh brought greater disaster. Moses pleaded, Pharaoh relented, but always hardened his heart again. Egypt's suffering grew, but the king's pride would not break. The final tragedy loomed. The last plague struck at midnight, the death of every Egyptian firstborn. The Hebrews marked their doors with lamb's blood. Death passed over them. A cry of anguish rose across Egypt. Not a house was spared. Pharaoh's own son was lost, his pride shattered, his will broken. In desperation, Pharaoh summoned Moses, "Go, take your people and bless me also." The empire's power was humbled. The long night of bondage ended in sorrow and surrender. The doors of freedom finally opened for the children of Israel. Egypt's might was undone by its king's stubbornness. Deliverance had come at last. As dawn broke over the endless sands, the Hebrews gathered in haste, their hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. The city of Egypt, with its towering monuments and memories of bondage, faded behind them as they stepped into the cool morning air. For generations they had dreamed of this moment, whispered about it in the darkness, and now, at last, it was real. The first rays of sunlight painted the desert gold, illuminating faces filled with hope, uncertainty, and awe. Guided by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night, they moved forward, trusting in a promise that seemed almost impossible. Each step into the unknown was a leap of faith, a declaration that they would no longer be defined by their chains. The mysterious pillar was both a beacon and a shield, leading them away from everything they had ever known. The first sunrise of freedom lit their path, a new beginning after centuries of darkness and despair. The golden light washed over them, promising a future shaped by their own hands, not by the will of their oppressors. It was a moment of profound transformation, where hope overcame fear, and the impossible became possible. Each step was a move toward the promised land and a destiny as a free people. The journey ahead would be long and uncertain, filled with challenges and doubts, but with every footprint in the sand, they claimed their freedom. The desert stretched before them, vast and unforgiving, yet it was also a blank canvas for their new story. The Exodus is more than history. It's a lesson in pride, faith, and the cost of oppression. It is a story of resilience, of people who refused to be broken and who found strength in unity and belief. Their journey reminds us that freedom is never given, it is earned, often at great sacrifice. Moses' courage and the people's hope brought forth a miracle. Against all odds, a leader rose to guide them, and a nation was born from the dust and struggle of the desert. Their faith in something greater than themselves gave them the strength to endure. The story endures. After the longest night, the sun will rise, and with it, the promise of freedom. This ancient journey continues to inspire, reminding us that even in our darkest hours, hope can lead us toward the light. A new day had begun, and with it the first steps into a future shaped by courage, faith, and the unbreakable will to be free.